Hey everyone, making a quick video on some tips and tricks for when you're playing Magic the Gathering, whether it's Commander or some other format you're playing. This is going to be primarily for Commander, I believe, for me. So anyways, I'll get right to it. So, first thing I would say is there's a lot of sleeves you can use. For Commander, it kind of doesn't matter as much. I just use the cheap upper deck sleeves, or Ultra Pro sleeves, I mean, and that's good enough. But yeah, always, I would say you could even get a sleeve that has artwork like this one, or you can get a different colored sleeve, something that will differentiate your Commander, especially if you're playing Commander, your Commander compared to your entire deck. I would say it's even better because, see, this one's all smooth. This is a different material. It's very easy to differentiate where this card is in your deck box. Because if you have a deck box like mine, let's say your game went a little long and you're rushing right after you finished, and your game went for an hour or something, let's say that, or even 2 hours. You're putting everything back in your deck box and you just stuff everything in it. Well, where's your Commander? Your Commander could be right in the middle, could be somewhere else, you don't know. But when you got something that's completely different colored, different style, it's so much easier. It's just a little thing that'll help. And these will all be little things that will help make your life a little bit easier and your gameplay maybe a little bit better. Not much. These are just small, minor things I'm going to be mentioning in this video. Next thing is dye. I use primarily these 3 different types of dye. 20-sided dye is amazing. I even use those for counters, for everything. And the 5-sided die is pretty easy too. Now, this is a 100-sided die, and these are fantastic for life counting. So, this is pretty much going to be used in combination of a 20-sided die. That's what I usually use, or a 6-sided die. So, I mean, this is a simple way that you can easily keep things pretty much on the table so your opponent can see. I mean, most people these days now use apps to count their lives, so it's pretty easy to use a life counter that way, and I preferred using it that way. But before then, these were the ways that I would use it, and it's a cheap way, and you could even use it for if you got, let's say, like you got tokens, and each turn you're getting like 10 or something. It's worth it. So I would recommend getting just maybe 2 20-sided die, and the set that has all these different sets of die. You could even get 2 sets of those, and you'll be good. And those don't cost very much. They're like $2, $5. I mean, you don't need to buy like those really small six-sided die that there's a bunch of. I use a token deck in my EDH deck that I'm building, and I don't even think I would be using it. Another trick you can use with your die, and I was watching a video by the Tulare Community College. The professor was saying, oh, you can put your die on top of your deck, or not even a die, it was actually just like a stone. A bath stone is, I think, what he was using. Anyways, so that way you don't miss any upkeep problems. Well, what I recommend is putting a die on. And I think you should have it on your deck before you even really do anything. And why, you might ask? Well, this is why, is because A, you have, like the professor was saying, the community, the Tulare Community College video was explaining there are upkeep, there are spells or even enchantments, anything that has upkeep in it is going to be an effect that happens before you even draw your card. So you have to take this off, and that will help remind you that you have something else. But the other thing is, and this is what I think is really important for me, and especially for players who are in competitive, or even players who are playtesting, is that how many turns does it take you to go off? And this is so important for a Captain Sissy deck. But yeah, I mean, this is very, very important. So I would recommend doing it like turn 1, there's turn 2, there's turn 3, there's turn 4, 5, and on and on and on. I mean, for me, I'm trying to get off turn 3 or 4 is really right where the sweet spot is. Turn 3 and 4. It's not completely out there. I mean, I could get Sissy out turn 2, or I could get Sissy out turn 5. Worst case scenario, it's usually turn 5. And that's usually if I'm neglecting it because of the card draws that I'm getting, the hand that I have, the what I have on the field. Very much depicts on how I'm playing. Another thing I would say is that with using die, make sure that you are, or with, not die, but with apps, make sure you get like maybe even a big tablet or something like that. I actually don't have my tablet, I believe, right now, because I think my mom has it, but yeah, she has it still. But the thing with tablets is that you want to make sure that you're using a tablet due to the size. You want it to be very well known that that both you and the player know what you are having as far as your life, and you want it to be big and very well known. Lots of people use iPads. Some people, and one of my friends when I was playing, used their phone, and I couldn't actually even see what he could have made up easily. He could have been taking away life, and I wouldn't have known. Although I probably would have figured it out in the end, but it goes back to the point of you want to make sure that you and your opponent can easily see. You don't want any discrepancy. And with the tablet being big, you can even let your opponent even deal with having their life gain or lose, and you can see it yourself, so you can tell if they're a cheater too. So I don't think that a lot of people are going to be cheating unless you're in like a competitive game for where you put your DCI number in, but you never know. Anyways, so those are just some tips and tricks. There are not very many. I could throw in other ones. I guess I'll throw in like tokens. Almost never really buy tokens, I would say. You can always use die. However, this is nice to have. So if you do pull some in a pack and whatnot, you could keep them, or you can even trade them at your store. Some stores allow you to trade, so it's pretty nice. And then the other thing is lands. Never buy lands, and this goes for any card game or any deck building. Always, for when you're building a deck and you want to build, either it's your first deck or you're building for Pauper or you're building for something else, go with the core. Do not buy the lands. And I know this is true because look, I have some of the strange lands, but this is actually a proxy. It's a pretty good one. I just printed it off online. I just put it in a Word document, got a full page of stuff on there, and you could even have it where the deck, the whole deck is proxies if you want, and it's a cheap way to do it. It's a great way to play test to see how your deck's gonna do. So I don't have any issue of doing that, especially if, like, for me, I've bought almost all of the proxies in here. I've bought. There's only 3 or 4 proxies that I did not buy, at least yet, that I'm looking to buy relatively soon. It's just that they are being shipped to me. And that's another thing I would say, is definitely try buying these cards at your local game store. It keeps them in business, and they're going to definitely like it. If you can get store credit, and just, you don't even have to use it all, but have store credit, it's an insurance for them that you're going to come back. And it's an insurance for you, because if you go to, like, some organized play tournament or something rather than that, something like that, you don't have to go in with a whole bunch of money. You don't have to do a whole bunch. You already have that. So, that's one less thing to worry about. You could even, and the great thing about card stores is you can always bring in your cards that you don't need, like these. I'm looking at possibly adding that, but I mean, like, some of these that are somewhat rare cards and things like that, you could bring it in and see if they actually want it. Just cards that I'm not even going to be using, that I got from Eternal Master set. And it helps me because I'm getting back into it. But I mean, it also helps in other reasons and ways too. So, and then I thought there was one more tip that I was going to tell you guys. I think it's going to be on deck boxes. Yeah. So with deck boxes, the best one, and the only one that I've really used, is the Ultra Pro. I've learned that most people use the Ultra Pro. There are tons of different ones to get, and I haven't tried any of the other ones. I'm thinking about buying a different deck box just to see how they are, and I've already looked online and seen videos and whatnot. But I also wanted to really mention that whether you're buying a deck box, a binder, looking for cards, the internet and YouTube is the way to go. Before I even bought this card or even decided to play this, to make this deck, I revisited Captain Sissy videos. on YouTube, and there was a lot more than when I had first wanted to make the deck, because when I first wanted to make the deck, it was 2013, 2014, and there was no deck videos really on it at the time, just because the deck was really underlight still at the time, even though it was really good. So, just wanted to mention that as well. The internet is definitely your friend, and use it very wisely. Anyways, so that is my video. There's other things as well that can be helpful. For example, making a deck list of your cards, especially if you're borrowing cards from another deck, which is another way to save money. That's what I do. A lot of people frown upon that because they think that you should have doubles of whatever. You should have 2 decks ready to play right now. And for me, that's not the case. I just don't have the finances. Well, I have the finances, but I want to save money. So, anyways, this is a quick video on tips and tricks to use when you're playing Magic the Gathering. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.